Yo, Eagles Nation, stand up. Yo, how'd Barkley put it? Looking like another grease pole night in Philly.
Facts.
Boom, let's watch the videotape. Boom, let's watch the videotape. Boom, let's watch the videotape. Boom, let's watch the videotape.
Yes! Victory Monday, kids. Welcome to the mothership, the Grease Pole Podcast, episode 128. Appreciate you. Fuck. Taking part, every episode is available on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, wherever the hell else your podcast. New episodes are available and drop each and every Monday evening here on YouTube as well, where we're simulcast. Grease Pole Podcast page. Hit the subscribe button, won't you? That'd be swell of you. Victory Monday. We'll get to the birds on the doorstep of another Super Bowl appearance, yet another NFC Championship game. So we're in a good mood here on the pod, and we're in even better a mode because mood. I'm not doing great at English, so our guys here to help me out though, or help us out, man. Can you hear my voice? It's not as hot as yours.
Oh yeah, I can definitely hear your voice. Let's be a career. Let's go to be a coach mode. How about that? Would that be good?
Let's do it, man. I once was a coach.
Hey, what's up, dudes?
How you doing, man?
I'm good. I just finished dinner. I'm feeling good.
Okay, what was for dinner? Fish?
Jesus. Yeah, salmon and I had veggies, a little bit of rice, and I also you know what I did recently? I made a little concoction in the crock pot, a little chicken, little chickpeas, little black beans, a little bit of pineapple chunks. It might not sound good, but it's actually really freaking good.
No, I'm with
and
it.
A little bit of cumin actually for a little bit of a tangy kick, if you will. It was pretty badass. It's almost like a soup. It comes out as a soup.
Sure.
So I added that too. It's good.
What did you say you threw together? What'd you call it?
He said,
I didn't call it anything. I just threw it in the crock pot.
A concoction.
A concoction. Do we know what the root word of that is?
Cock.
Junior high pod. And you followed up concoction with cumin.
Yes.
We're mature as fuck here today.
Cumin. Yeah, a little cumin.
Yeah, dude. Okay, so I've got good news.
But obviously I said cock because chicken.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously I know rooster, but it's a small play. It's a small connection there.
Oh, see, I just went immediately to penis. I didn't go
to... you would.
Yeah,
but anyway, our time is running out here. It is.
So let's get the good news out of the way before we talk Vancouver. So V knows I told her on the way. Sweaters are here. Sweaters are here.
It's about damn time. I tell you what, I was honestly about to text you. I was thinking about this yesterday during my unavailable period this weekend. I was like, you know what? I'm going to text Corey on Monday and tell him that I want to murder whoever the third man is. Who's the third man?
Hulk Hogan.
Because exactly. Where is my sweater? Like this is insane at this point.
Bash at the Beach 96 about to happen though. No, we got them, and they are. I'll say this: I didn't take them out because we all wanted to reveal them together on an episode.
Yeah.
However, the way they were folded, I did see the crests.
Ooh.
Quality.
Ooh,
I didn't unfold, so I can't say for anything else, but yours, Joe, was on top of the stack, and you're the lone non-Kraken sweater of the bunch. Yours looks good, dude. Yours looks good.
I'm sure it does. I mean, the kid is on fire. He's gorgeous, great head of hair, tall man.
So are you, man.
You know, so he's a boy of the same stature as me. Maybe I'm his daddy.
Oh.
Wait a minute. Hold on. I just realized something that I'm not going to spoil here. Or maybe
What's that?
You know what? You got your first.
No, you have to.
Yeah, you got your first choice.
No.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Because at the time I thought it was Buffalo, and then I realized that Vegas was your first choice.
Mhm.
So yeah. Anyway, I just realized that epiphany, light bulb, way too late in the game. So yeah, dude, a lot's going on in Vancouver. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, isn't it wild though? Like, honestly, let's.
No, that's
let's-
Minnesota, Joe.
What's that?
I said, you said, "Isn't it wild?" I said, "No, that's Minnesota, Joe."
You told us
well,
that
but-
was a bear head, and
True,
glass
but-
shattered it for
But
us.
Bruce Boudreau did coach the Wild from 2012 to 2020.
Look at you.
So
He
it
did.
fits. It fits. Yeah, no, I just think it's wild that Vancouver. So here's my thing. And I can say this because obviously I'm a Capitals fan, and Boudreau coached the Capitals for a number of years, like 2007 to 12, probably. Yeah,
did.
2007 to 2012.
Pre-Minnesota.
This man, before he went to Minnesota, well, he went to the Ducks, then he went to Minnesota. But anyway,
That's right.
Anyway, point being is like he's one of the coaches that has like an actual winning record, and he's great. Like he's I don't remember these actual percentages. I looked at it earlier today. Somewhere in the 6, though. Like he has a winning record as a coach, and he's been coaching for a long time. The man's a damn good coach. To me, and the reason I brought up the Capitals, it's the team of Vancouver that's the problem, and they're letting go of a great coach when the team sucks.
Yeah.
It's the team's problem. Because, and again, going back to the Capitals, he brought the Capitals to the playoffs almost every single year when he was their coach. Almost every single year. And here's the thing, and Ovi has said this himself after they won the cup, and he's like, essentially in so many words, obviously Russian probably, but in so many words, he was like, yeah, I was kind of a piece of shit all those years before. It wasn't until I actually got my shit together to be a real leader that we won the cup, and I was going to do anything to win that cup. My point being is that Vancouver just let a coach go. That are they going to win a Stanley Cup? Not necessarily in the next few years, but such a great coach when it's the internal team that's the problem. Who's their leader? Like Horvat's not stepping up. Garland's not stepping up. OEL's not stepping up. Like they all hate each other. It seems like
Pedersen, Brock Besser. Yeah. No,
yeah, Besser. Like nobody's stepping up. That's why they suck right now. Like so I don't know. I don't think adding Rick Tocchet as the coach is really going to change anything. But I mean, I guess we'll see. But it's just wild you think about it. Boudreau got added in November last year, so he didn't even really get a chance. Like,
no,
I think
he
he's
didn't.
Had like 100 games for Vancouver, and I think I'm pretty sure he's won more than he's lost because they had that big surge last year when he came on. So it's kind of unfortunate, honestly.
He did the best he could with that roster. Not even because the roster itself is fine with the team and the chemistry and the way things have gone for them on ice, and Look, Thatcher Demko's been out for a while. That certainly hasn't helped. So they've had like Spencer Martin and I don't know who else platooning for him in net. That's not going to make life any easier for you. And I think Boudreau's one is he's won over 1,000 games. Yeah, for sure. As a head coach,
he's coached over 1,000 games.
Okay.
He hasn't won over 1,000 though.
I got you. Okay, so I mean, but he's well respected around the league, and it was so cool to see what the fans there in Vancouver and him get emotional because he's like, you don't know, this might be, I want to take this all in because this might not happen for me again. The Flyers fan in me, though, is super geeked that it's Tocchet. Tocchet was my first ever Flyers sweater I bought when I was 18 years old. I love Rick Tocchet, and it's to see him get an opportunity with a team that isn't Arizona is pretty cool, man. I've always liked Vancouver. Side note, get rid of the fucking whale coming out of the sea. Go back to the flying skate, for fuck's sake. Dopest sweaters in hockey history.
I just looked. He's coached 1,087 games. He's 617, 342, and 128. So that's
more than respectable.
Percentage of 6 something. So that's pretty damn good. And in Vancouver, he coached 103 games. He's 50, 40, and 13. So he has a winning record as a Vancouver head coach.
Yeah, barely over a season is what he was given. And it's very unfortunate what's happened there. And,
and it is just because, and I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to kind of totally screw my whole argument over. it's terrible for Vancouver because we don't really know what Rick Tocchet's going to come in and do. I mean, he had that little run in Arizona, and he brought them to the playoffs that year, I believe, also when they have never any right to go to anywhere. But so it's terrible for Vancouver because they're losing out on a great coach. But here's where I'm going to totally like throw away my argument there. It's kind of nice because Boudreaux is one of those coaches amongst the league that is part of the old boys club. Yep. And maybe in the next few years now, we can actually start to see like some of those older coaches getting out of the league, like Rick Bowness, now Bruce Boudreaux. Honestly, even though he's the Caps coach, but Peter Laviolette, I mean, all these guys that just keep going to different teams. Let's let a new breed of coaches come and see what happens.
Yeah, I got love for Lavi because
so do I. Obviously, I'm waiting for him to bring a championship to Washington again.
He's great. And that includes our head coach Torts. I mean, look, I wanted when we got rid of fucking Vigneault and we're in the market for a new head coach this year. Tocchet was the guy I wanted. And that was probably fanboying me because Torts is the right hire. But I wanted Tocchet just because I wanted to mark out overseeing my guy on the bench. I mean, it's great for him to get another opportunity that's not with a team that ended up playing in a fucking, Arizona States. And I know we go back to that every time with Arizona, but what else is there to go back to? Exactly.
An actual barn.
Yeah, you play in front of 5,000 people if you sell out. Good for you.
Hey, the Mullet Arena, baby. Like, what are you doing here?
Yes, named after Rick Tocchet's hairdo from back in the day.
Obviously.
But it was cool to see Boudreaux get that moment. And, who knows, man? It's I don't know where Vancouver is at in the standings right now. Obviously they're
the last.
Yeah. They're down there though.
They're buried. Yeah. So I mean, it's
but it is the Pacific, so you could go on a 10-game win streak and be right back in playoff contention. So,
that's true, but that's the thing. It's like you do a mid-season switch to Rick Tocchet, and what do you think that's going to accomplish? Out of anything for respect for Boudreaux and what he's accomplished, you'd at least like to see him finish out the season.
Yeah, I mean, at least give him a full season.
Right.
Because he hasn't had a full season. Like, this would have been his full season as coach had they not just fired him. So it's kind of wild. Vancouver is currently 6th in the Pacific.
Yeah, I was just
okay.
With 39 points. 39. So
Jesus.
They're 14 out of the wild card.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're good luck with that.
Yeah, exactly.
But, yeah, it's kind of woof. But anyway, I mean, that's the biggest thing I think is Vancouver trying to essentially put a Band-Aid on a massive gaping hole. You know what I'm saying?
Lipstick on a pig, dude.
Yeah, and so it's just gonna be it's gonna be funny when we start talking about pucks on an actual puck pod.
Yeah.
To see how this actually shakes out with hiring Tocchet. So we'll see.
It'll be interesting, man. It'll be interesting for sure. What we need to do, and we could do this off air, of course, but let's start get the wheels turning about Sweater Pod, because I want to.
Yeah, well, I could probably pop up there next week.
Ooh.
Hey,
ooh,
yeah, I could probably do that. What's the? I could probably pop up there next week.
All right, can we pencil you in?
Yeah, pencil me in. Pencil me in for a live sweater reveal. So I guess that means, I guess I don't have to take off my shirt to put the sweater on. I put the sweater over it, but
yes, you do.
I mean, I could probably be persuaded.
That's where I come in.
Just have your leather pants.
Oh, dude, I'm ready. I've had them ready. I have never been more ready for anything in my life. I hope you have yours.
Oh, I mean, I have a whole bag full of them, bud.
All right, we need to control word off air, yeah? We'll text later?
Yeah, obviously, yeah, for sure, yeah, of course.
Bruce Boudreaux, control word.
We also have to start thinking about, because the roadie is literally only a couple weeks away.
Like 3 weeks away.
Yeah.
I was going to say, we got to start figuring out the plan for all that. So
and don't look now, but the Panthers are coming on.
Mm-hmm.
The Preds aren't great, but they're not awful either. Like, we might be in for, I mean, it'll probably be a shit-ass sweater matchup, but, like, it could be a
More than
really good
likely.
hockey game.
Yeah, it's a sneaky good game.
Might be good.
Yeah, and either way, there's a lot of good players there that I'm geeked to see Kachuk. My guy Tanner Janot, as we've said, is having a Cheeks year.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's that. But, you know, you get to see Yossi. That's a Hall of Famer. You know,
That's true. Yes, he's going to be a Hall of Famer for sure.
So-
yeah. I mean, you know, Duchesne, he's not bad. Flip Forsberg, I mean, he's pretty good. I mean, UC Saros has been killing it for a while, so that'll
Yeah.
be cool to see him versus whoever they fucking put in net for the Panthers.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, Bob took the net back. I mean, he's not like lights out or nothing, but
yeah. He's still, if
getting
you go
dubs.
off resume, yeah, he's a 2-time Vezina winner.
I
You
true.
know,
Yeah, that's
after
true.
we
Yeah.
got rid of him for a Powerade machine.
I'll tell you, he's a guy I dropped in the league, and like when I dropped him, I'm like, good, get
Yeah.
the fuck out of here.
Hell off my
And now
team.
I'm like, God damn it, I could use him because
yeah.
Samsonov is dropping 3 to the Habs and losing in overtime.
Goalie
Cool.
carousel, dude.
Thanks.
At like the worst time of year, too, when it's starting to ramp up a little
Uh-huh.
bit. So,
Yeah, it's tough to come by solid tendies. That's for sure. That is for sure. But you know who did? Did you guys win this past week?
Corey beat me. 6-4.
I did.
Oh, okay.
That's about exactly the response that deserves.
No, well, I was in it until Saturday, and that's when Samsonov
He
blows
blew
a
it
2
for ya.
nothing. Yeah, he blows a 2-0 lead. I was like, oh, word, a shutout and the dub
Yeah.
to keep pace, and then he loses 3-2, and Gustafsson got lit up for 4 goals, I think, against Florida.
Yeah. And
They lost 5-3.
Ottinger got me a shutout early, which anytime you get the shutout, it's way better than seeing it in the other person's column. Because you see it in the
for
other
sure.
person's column and it's deflating. You're like, well, there's 2 points I'm not getting.
Mhm.
Every
Well,
time
I
I
mean,
play you, Joe, I swear to God, you get a shutout every fucking time.
I mean, 2 weeks ago, Big Marty Jones got me 2 shutouts.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
yeah, you know what's actually funny about this? I mean, I beat Fletcher Skechers like no problem. I was beating her for like since day one. But
Humble
the point
brag.
is, what's funny is I didn't get credited for a goalie appearance
Oh.
and it actually went in my favor because Martin Jones got lit up for 5 goals on Monday. They didn't count it. It said that he didn't play the game, which is wild to me.
That is
Hey,
Yahoo
is
fucking
weird.
sucks, man.
Yahoo
but
is
anyway-
cheeks. It's so bad.
Anyway,
It's so
it works
bad.
for me because I still won, so whatever.
Mhm.
It does. It does. It's
And
funny
I'm-
because I got another. I have to say this as I sent in the group chat the other night, just so it's established I'm not entirely cheeks in fantasy this year. Continue to kill it in Taylor's league. 2-game lead on first. So I just I gotta mention that just so people know I'm not entirely ass.
Sure, yeah. I mean, definitely mention it, dude. I mean, it's no problem. I mean, you know, the one that you actually run, you suck at. But it's
I'm
fine.
so
Oh,
bad.
Jesus.
I know. And it sucks because I was like, I love this team this year. And for what? I don't know.
He picked up like 4 goalies this week.
Yeah, I've got 5 goalies on my squad right now because after figuring out and deciphering my goalies had cost me a lot, I just decided, you know what's not going to happen anymore? That I'm carrying every goalie that's available.
Holy shit, you do have 5 fucking goalies,
Yeah,
dude.
dude, I'm not going to make that up. Trust me, because I know it sounds fucking stupid.
But you won.
I'm
True.
pretty. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you won. I'm pretty sure Copley and Francouz are both backups.
They are. Well, Copley had the Kings gig on lock, but Quick's probably going to start sneaking his way back in because he's been chased.
Yeah.
I think his last 2 games. So he's probably going to be available on waivers this coming week at some point randomly for another random goalie that's probably a backup. But
I
it's
mean,
weird.
you do you, boo.
I
You
don't
do
like
you,
him
boo.
because he spells Phoenix wrong. He puts the E before the O, and that's not the Webster's way.
Well, I don't think that he got to choose it when he was born, but
Yeah.
you know,
No.
you could always go and beat the shit out of his parents.
Yeah, that or just go to your local courthouse and get it changed, huh? Maybe swap the O with the E and be normal.
Well, maybe he's Swedish. Maybe they don't do that.
He could be. The Swedes do spell things wrong.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
What?
I mean, spell all the things wrong.
I
Anyway,
didn't know this.
I'll let you. I'll let you guys get back to what you're gonna do. Go Birds.
Oh,
Hey,
yeah.
yes, sir. Go Birds. We'll try to get you over here shirtless next week.
Yes.
Yeah, let's
So,
plan on it. Let's
Love
do
you,
it.
buddy.
Love y'all.
Later.
What a guy.
What a fucking guy.
Always good to hear our guy. Yeah, I didn't want to bring up the fact that Broad Street Cheeks eked one out against you this week, friend, because I know that's inconvenient.
It stinks because you know I'm chasing Thomas for first, so that's why it stinks. And like I said, the thing that blows is Saturday's what fucked it.
Yeah,
Because neither guy got the dub, and I'm like, well, now I can't even make enough moves to catch any of those goalie. Like, what the fuck, man?
right. No, I know, and it when I picked up Frank Coos yesterday morning when I was sitting on the shitter. There's a fun image. I knew, I was like, I mean, he's the backup, but I mean, he's been hot lately. He was I believe one of the 3 stars of the week last week or the week before. I could have that wrong though, but you know, it's the Avs have been.
They finally woke up.
Right. So it's like, you know what? Who knows, man? It's one of those things you're just throwing darts and you're hoping something catches, because it's like outside of Ottinger, kind of hot is a hope and a prayer every time you throw him out.
Yeah.
I had Sammy Urson, but we just sent him back down to the AHL because Sandstrom's good to go. And then I got Flower, Copley, and Frank Coos, who I just picked up. So it's there's a lot of dudes there. It's not a strong depth chart. It's just their bodies.
So the 2 things fucked me last week. The biggest thing that fucked me was Saturday. Both the attendees didn't show up. I'm like, oh fuck, man. But like more so, I couldn't make any moves early in the week because there was a pending trade with Joe.
Yep.
And it was a pending trade where I was just going to drop the guy I was getting anyway because I wanted picks.
Right.
And Joe, we went through all that song and dance, and he ended up dropping Lindgren too.
Dude, I saw that and was like, we did a segment on the pod about this. And he's out there.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
But in hindsight, I should have kept Rittich because he got the dub against y'all last night.
Yes, he did.
You know, I think it was
yes, he did.
5-3. So I mean, I might have inched closer on goals against, but
they jumped out 3-0 quick. Like you blink and it was 3-0 Winnipeg. And then we tied it up 3-3. And then we remembered where the Flyers were not supposed to win these things. And 5-3 was your final score. But Rittich had like a solid year for Calgary a couple years ago. Like Rittich
he's a good backup. It's just I already have Gustafsson in that role.
Right.
And since Samson, like it seems like neither Murray or Samsonov can take the Leafs position.
Right, and
they both go out and stink it up.
Subsequently, shit all over themselves. Right, and you don't want to be like your boy and carry 96 goalies.
No,
you know, because pretty soon, before you know it, I'm gonna have mystery guy Eric Comrie on my roster. Because
I'm pretty sure he's available.
He's out there because I looked at every goalie.
Remember we had on Gear Freaks on the stream last week some random goalie playing for like Los Angeles or something.
Yeah,
who the fuck is that guy?
Well, I don't even remember his name.
Nope.
But yeah, that was his photo. Had to have been a silhouette in NHL 23. I'm convinced that's not an actual person. That's like a developer's son or cousin or some shit.
Come here, take a picture. I'm gonna put you in the game.
Yeah.
All right.
This is what you get for sharing genetics with me. So we love pucks. Our guy kind of teased it, but Hockey Pod to come soon. Details will be revealed at the appropriate time as we get them sorted out. But hey, sweaters next week, so you guys can finally stop listening to us bitch about that. So Victory Monday, man.
Yeah.
Actually, yesterday was Victory Sunday, technically, because it was a Saturday night game, and your boy consumed quite a bit for the first time in a while.
Oh, really?
But it was happy consumption. Nothing got out of hand. Nothing got weird. And it felt good. It felt good to do it on a joyous occasion. It was all good. Celebrate good times. Come on. We beat the fuck out of the Giants 38-7 and really just dominated them from the outset, dude. It was, I don't know if you saw any of it, but like it immediately you realize like you're just waiting mainly for Jalen Hurts to take that first hit because you as a fan want to see it to make sure that he's good, but you want him to know I can absorb this and pop up and I'll be good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because he's not, I'm not questioning his effort, but I'm just saying once you get that validation, you're good to go. There's no question. I'm fine. And he was good. He didn't, when it was passing, when he's in the pocket, clean pocket to work with, he took a couple hits on the runs and that shit's going to happen. But generally speaking, he was going out of bounds. He was being smart. And that's what you want to see. Third play of the game, past to Dallas Goedert, who just hit Adoree Jackson with a fucking filthy stiff arm. And I don't know if it's possible for the third play of a game to set a tone, but it felt very significant even at the time. And this was after like a 30, 40-yard gain to Devontae Smith on the second play of the game. And you're like, okay, they came out swinging. They're coming out throwing. Like, we're not fucking around with these motherfuckers. And ate up like 5 minutes of the clock, went down the field and scored immediately. And it was the defense followed up. Hassan Reddick, 2 sacks the following drive. And the Giants never stood a chance. And when you have, what the Giants considered to be their strength and their defensive line being dominated by what's our strength in our offensive line, and that's the Eagles' strength is in the trenches, both sides of the ball, and that's the way the Super Bowl team was built.
That's how Super Bowls are won.
And, dude, exactly, man. It's like your last team standing are always teams that are strong in the trenches. You don't do shit without an offensive line. That's why
Vic never won a championship.
Yeah, dude, and why the Bengals made it to the Super Bowl last year. They finally addressed their offensive line, and once they realized, we can't get Burrow killed back here anymore. So, and now look at him. You know what I mean? And it really was domination, dude. It was the Giants just hit a wall, and what it was, and not to shit on Minnesota, but they played the Vikings, and the Vikings were revealed to be a fraud. And, it was a message, we belong here, you're in our way, get the fuck out of the way. And so then you're faced with the dilemma going into Sunday and I had this thing where it was like, go Niners, go Niners, go Niners, because first of all, you want Dallas fans to shut the fuck up.
Yes.
And get out of the way, because they will when they lose. And the other part of you is like, anytime they lose, it's a plus. You never want them to win. But as the days going on, I was starting to be like, you know what? Bring them on. Bring them on, because a whole week of Eagles-Cowboys just
John at each
hatred leading up to a fucking NFC Championship. That happened back in 1981 for us to go to our first Super Bowl. I haven't had that in my lifetime. Like, that was the year my mom and dad got married. Like, I wasn't even a fucking forethought. So to have that would have been fucking sweet. At the end of the day, you don't get it. The Cowboys do what they do every year. Dak Prescott shit himself, a couple picks, horrible picks. And it's Eagles San Francisco now. And, I'll say this, man, no two games are going to be exactly alike, but our guy Sirianni was feeling himself on Saturday night, dude. The camera caught him on a hot mic telling a ref, I know what the fuck I'm doing. There's now T-shirts made by, I think it's Barstool Philly. No idea why I'm plugging them. I wish they'd plug us. They don't need it. But I want to buy one of these motherfuckers, and it just says, I know what the fuck I'm doing. And it's so cool, dude. And he had the swag out. And, the new thumbnail we've got to intro the pod, the camera caught him after I think we made it like 21-0, and he was just sitting there. He looked at the camera and just he was feeling himself, dude. And he's done a great job of understanding what this team is, what its strengths are, and good teams play to their strengths, and that's exactly what the Eagles do. We gained more rushing yards, 268, than the Giants had total yards. I mean, it was fucking wild, dude. Now look, I say all this to say I don't see that being the case against San Francisco this week, because San Francisco has a grown-ass man team. This is it's felt for a month or so like it was just you have the Eagles and you have the Niners in the NFC. Everyone else, Dallas, Minnesota, all of them were just kind of, and they're headed for each other on a collision course is how it's felt. And now here we are. It's without a doubt, it's the two best teams in the NFC, and they're built very, very similar. They're both strong in the trenches, both sides of the ball. Both have weapons that are just, they're loaded on offense, a plethora on both sides. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, Miles Sanders. For us, and then for them, you've got Debo, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle. They got CMC now, and you've got two smart offensive coaches, and Nick Sirianni and Kyle Shanahan, that know how to use the talent they have. Offensive line, defensive line, strong, good, active linebackers. Secondary, Darius Slay's not playing his best football right now, but he's still, an all-pro. Safety spot. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson's back. Reed Blankenship, my guy, left a couple plays on the field on Saturday night. And you can do that against the Giants. You're not going to be able to do it against San Francisco. But I believe their two starting corners are out. So secondaries are both a little vulnerable. And it's for me, one of the big things is, and you hate to go to quarterback because it feels cheap, but Jalen Hurts, who just picked up his first playoff win, somehow comes into this game with an immense more experience than Brock Purdy, who was Mr. Irrelevant in this year's draft. He's a fucking rookie, dude. And look, he's been good. I liked him a lot at Iowa State. He deserved to get drafted, and he deserves an opportunity. But at this point, even though Purdy has 2 wins in the playoffs to Hurts 1, Hurts is the reason he put himself in the position to get 1 this year with the bye, as opposed to the 2 that Purdy did. And I can see Purdy's not moving around the way Jalen Hurts does. He doesn't. He's kind of, and I'm not comparing these two here, but he's Tom Brady-esque in that he can move around in the pocket a little bit to keep his ass upright, but he's not taking off to really scramble on you, whereas Hurts will. So you have to account for both those threats, over the air and on the ground. So for me, that is going to be a huge factor, and our defense can very much pressure Brock Purdy and frustrate him, unlike any defense he's played so far this year. Yes, even Dallas. And that said, we've got more sacks this year than anybody in the league. 1 away from tying the all-time record of the 84 Chicago Bears, right? 71 is what we had. They had 72. The Niners have the number 1 overall defense, and it's going to be the defensive player of the year, and Nick Bosa. They can get after us as well, but you also have an offensive line with the Birds that has nothing but all pros and Pro Bowlers up front. So it's going to be bully football. It's going to be physical. If you like old school, tough football in the trenches, this is going to be the game for you. It's all the pretty shit is going to be in the AFC title game later on in the day with Cincinnati and Kansas City. You're going to get the hard-nosed football out of this game, and it's going to be tight. Neither team is going to run away with this fucking thing. It's not going to be another 38-7. So, I'm really glad that we have the early game, 3 o'clock, and then you lead into about 6:30. The AFC title game starts, Kansas City and Cincinnati. And I had a feeling about a month ago, man, and I've told a few people, I was kind of reading the tea leaves and seeing everything, and I was like, I just got a gut feeling about the Eagles and the Bengals. And I was texting with Frank last night, our guy, host of the Unofficial Bengals podcast, and he and I've talked about it for a couple years since we've done some shit together, and he was like, man, we've talked about this for a couple years, and we're a step away now, man. And it's like, you're talking about all the content and all the stuff you can do together and how cool it would be. And aside from that and everything else, I honestly think that would be the best matchup. And it's nothing against Kansas City. It's nothing against San Francisco. Hell, the storybook writes itself with the Eagles and the Chiefs. You get Andy Reid, against Nick Sirianni. You know what I mean? Andy against his former team. You got the brothers Kelsey against each other. They do a podcast together every week. Like the story writes itself. But I think in terms of generationally the NFL and kind of the backstories of the two teams and the history, I think Eagles, Bengals, and the types of teams that they are now would probably be the best game. And you've got Mahomes, who's on kind of a gimpy leg after the Jacksonville game. Will he be at 100%? And I think Cincinnati comes out of the AFC, and I don't want to say it because I'm hella superstitious and I've knocked on wood anytime I've said anything that had the word Super Bowl in it for the last month, but I feel good about Sunday. It's not the way it was after Week 18. After seeing the way we looked Saturday night, and yes, it's just the Giants. I get that, but it's a fucking statement. This entire team hadn't been together for over a month, and there's been injuries, which led to a couple losses, which led to people kind of forgetting about us because San Francisco and Brock Purdy and Dallas obviously gets a lot of attention, and Cincinnati's been hot. But Saturday night was there to remind you who the top dog in the fucking league's been all year long, whether you want to recognize it or not. You can say it's the Giants, you can downplay it, but it is what it is. It's the Birds are a force to be reckoned with, and one more game, you're on the doorstep of the Super Bowl now, and it's just like Malcolm Jenkins said a couple years ago, the goal is never just to get there, the goal is to fucking win. Especially when you get this close, it's like you can fucking taste the shit, and you don't want to look back and go, God damn, we were just a step away. That's all the Andy Reid tenure was. That's why he's in Kansas City now. So, look, Sirianni has a chance to do the exact same thing that Doug Peterson did, his second year in Philly, and they were both players, coaches, but I think that credit our guy here, Sirianni. Peterson ended up in the perfect place for him in Jacksonville. Peterson fits Jacksonville. He was a Philly guy too. He played there. He knew what to expect from the city. But Sirianni's temperament fits this fan base so well because watching that dude, he gets so goddamn fired up and so fucking intense, especially when shit's going well. Watching that dude on Saturday was a pleasure, not just as a fan, but as a former coach and a former player too. You love to see your coach express that level of emotion and that level of belief in you. And he is, make no mistake about it, you can make fun of the initial press conference and the flowers and everything else. That motherfucker is what puts this roster over the top. And not to mention the effort.
Let's watch the videotape.
What a guy, huh?
What a guy.
What a fucking guy. Howie Roseman, good Howie, comes into play with the reshaping of rosters every year. Drafting, that's when you get a little bit of the bad Howie. But in terms of the numbers, the salary cap, off-season pickups, things like that, reshaping a roster, Howie took a Super Bowl team that completely fell on its ass because of Carson Wentz. He had to reshuffle shit, and within one offseason has turned this team into a fringe wild card team to a fucking Super Bowl contender. And there's going to be contracts coming up at the end of the year, but a lot of guys are locked in too. And so not only that, but you've done a great job of kind of putting the next generation in place. Jason Kelce, it's going to be devastating to lose that dude, but he's flirted with retirement for the last 2 years or so. And if we win it all, I'm not in his head, but I'd bet money he walks away. And he started business ventures. Him and his wife just had a baby, and he had a hand in the Birds drafting Cam Jurgens, center out of Nebraska in the second round this year. There's a reason why that happened. So, the roster is set up fairly well. We said it last time too, after, the previous Super Bowl, right? You make it to the divisional round against Saints the following year, and Alshon Jeffrey drops a pass, and the team that year may have been even better than the Super Bowl year. But, you have the turnover, guys leave, shit happens, you make some bad picks, and now the job Howie's done completely reshaping this roster. Look at the offseason acquisitions: A.J. Brown, Hassan Reddick, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, James Bradbury. These are all dudes that have played fucking crucial roles for this team and making it where it is. And again, the most important one of all, Nick Sirianni, in my opinion, aside from the moves that Howie made. So everything is coming together beautifully, and, whatever happens, and you certainly hope it continues, but it's been a hell of a ride, man. And this team is, you want it to continue, but this team is set up for success in the future, and Jalen Hurts extension's coming down the pike. So you've got the guy, they believe in him, and it's a beautiful thing to see. And San Francisco Eagles on Sunday at 3:00 is going to be a fucking blast to watch. What are your thoughts on the NFC Championship game? Who did you want to see, San Francisco, or did you want to see the Antichrist Dallas Cowboys because in all likelihood they'd be easier. Let's face it. But nonetheless, and Skip Bayless come out and said, well, Dallas was better. Dallas was the better team. They just weren't prepared.
Okay, well then how are you better?
Exactly. Skip Bayless is an idiot, dude. He's a gimmick.
Yeah.
Fuck that guy. But and fuck the Cowboys too. That's why you're sitting at home. But I don't want too much bad karma because we still have one game left to get to the big game in Arizona. So hit the subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube. Also follow on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, wherever it is that you podcast. New episodes drop each and every Monday. Leave a review as well if you'd like. Either way, appreciate you taking part. Enjoy Championship Sunday, and let's hope that we have another Victory Monday next week for next week's episode. Sweaters to come as well. We'll see you then. As always, go Birds.
Yeah.
There it is. Yo, how'd Barkley put it? Looking like another grease pole night in Philly. Philly.
Facts. Go Birds.
That would be great.